A Secret to Family. I wanted to take a few moments today to share a story about our family and some tips and tricks that we've found that work for us over the years, and our hope is that they work for you as well. Our family story isn't that much different than most people's. We're not very special. There's nothing great about our family other than we believe that we've found the secret to making our family passionate and purposeful in life. It wasn't all that long ago that my wife and I found ourselves coasting, if you will, through life and with our family. We weren't necessarily unhappy. There wasn't anything terribly wrong, but we did find ourselves stressed out and overcommitted. We found ourselves with some financial burdens that we hadn't anticipated, and we found ourselves lacking direction in our lives, yet not necessarily terribly unhappy, but feeling like there was something more for what we should be doing. Once we realized this, we made a concerted effort to make a change. We weren't sure what that change was going to be, but we knew that something needed to change, and we were out to discover what that change might be. So we've spent the last 5 or 6 years studying other successful both organizations and families to determine what is it that makes those families, those organizations successful in what they do, and hopefully along the way we would reduce some of our stress and some of our pressure that we felt life was putting on us, rather than us putting on ourselves. Our secret really isn't all that complicated, and I wanted to share that with you today. You'll need a couple things though. If you're ready to make that change, if you're committed, it's not difficult, but you will need a couple things, as I mentioned. So take a couple minutes, and here's what you need to grab. Put the video on hold. You'll need a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil that you can write with, and I will track along with you. You'll see it right up here in the video when it comes to be time to do all of that. So put the video on hold, grab a piece of paper. It can be notebook paper, it can be a sheet of copy paper, it can be a napkin, anything that you can write on, pen or pencil, and I'll wait right here for you. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to gather a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, and you've set aside a few minutes to just listen and follow along as I share what we've come to call the secret to family. So the secret to family really starts by drawing on your sheet of paper 3 circles. So you'll draw a large circle. You can make it as big as you want as long as it fits on the piece of paper. Draw a second circle inside the first, and finally a third circle in the center. You'll need enough room to write there, so pay attention to the video over my shoulder here. But once you have those 3 circles, it should look a little bit like a target, and that's part of the goal, is to target a more purposeful life, a more purposeful family. So let's label these circles that we've drawn. We're going to start in the middle. The first circle that I want you to label in the middle, just simply write the word why in the middle. W-H-Y. The next circle out, you'll want to write the word who in there. W-H-O. And the last circle, that's how. H-O-W. How. So let's begin, once you have those circles drawn, let's begin back in the center with why. So let's talk about that just briefly. Why? Why does your family exist? Now, some would joke and say, we didn't really plan on having a family, we just kind of ended up here. And frankly, that's not a silly answer. There's a lot of families in the world who are in that very situation. But ultimately, now you're a family. So now it's time to determine why we are a family. What is the mission, the vision, and the values of this family? And ultimately, that's what the why circle has to do with. It has to do with the family mission, the family vision, and the family values that you set forth. So flip over your sheet of paper, and I want you to write why on the top of the paper, and then write the number 1 with mission next to it, a number 2 with the word vision, and number 3 values. So MVV is the way we think of that. And ultimately, what you'll do if you were to follow along through our course, through our series of videos, we will help you develop a family mission, a family vision, and will help you establish family values that ultimately act as the boundaries for you and your family to live by. It all starts in the middle with why. Why does your family exist? These are very important questions. They're very key questions, and they're not something to take lightly. This very first circle is not something to skip over. This becomes the foundation of everything that your family will be and stand for going forward. The family mission is simply that. What is the mission of our family? For us, our mission is to prepare its members for the future and our lives, whether together or apart. Our vision, our family vision, will do that through the use of financial tactics, personal productivity tactics, those kinds of things. Our vision is to do this in a way that our kids and my wife and I are prepared for all that life has to offer us. And finally, the values. The values are probably the most important of these three items to establish because they act as the boundaries. Think of them as the out of bounds. So as you go through your days and you think, should I or shouldn't I, you should immediately reflect to these values that you set forth. And those will act as the boundaries for you and your other family members that they will live by. It's generally a good idea to have more than 2 or 3, but no more than 5 or 6. Too many, and it becomes too confusing to keep track of. Too few, and you've not set enough of a boundary for yourself. Again, following our guide, we can help you pick those values that are appropriate for you. So again, this first circle, the why, consists of your family mission and your family vision, and most importantly, your family values. So let's talk about the second circle. That's the who. In the who circle, this is the people. These are your family members, and it's important for you to understand who they are as people and how you're going to interact with them. I think we all can sit back and think about little quirks, little idiosyncrasies that each of our family members have, and that's fun to think about, but in the real world, it's important to understand. It's important to understand the stress triggers that set some off, or the things that some people enjoy in your family, and you want to include those. That's the who. The who is the family members themselves, and you need to better understand them. And again, in our coursework, we'll help you better understand who your family members really are and how to integrate them and how to work with them as you set forth on this journey. The final circle, that's the how. The how, we feel, is divided into 3 separate areas. So again, on the back of that sheet of paper, you want to write the how in these 3 areas. The first is just physical health. The second is mental health, or what we sometimes call spiritual health. And the third is financial health. Everything to do with your finances. Through our coursework, we'll help you understand which of these 3 requires the most emphasis up front. Which of these 3 areas needs the most work in your family? When you look back on what your mission and your vision and your values are, and then compare that to the things that you have going on in each of these 3 areas, physical health, mental or spiritual health, and financial health, which aren't aligned the most? In other words, which ones are needing the most attention? For most, it's financial. For some, though, it's physical health. And yet others, well, they require mental or spiritual health help. And again, in our coursework, we can help you establish tips and tricks in that area. So I talked about the secret to life, and you could say, wow, that was it, Doran? There's 3 circles, why, who, and how, and that's the secret? Well, in all honesty, those are the components to it. But here's the secret. The secret is that successful organizations, successful families, they attack these things in exactly that order. They start in the middle and work their way out. It's all too common for people to start on the outside and work their way in. We fall victim to things like advertisements and peer pressure. We see other families doing certain things, so we want to do those things just like them, without regard to what our mission, our vision, and our values are for our own family. And ultimately, what we end up trying to do is essentially live somebody else's life. And that may seem like a good idea for a while, but ultimately we become stressed out, overcommitted. We're trying to do the activities of family one and live the lives of family two. And we just can't do it all. We need to do what's important to us. And ultimately we have to start in the middle. So the secret to family is working these rings from the inside out. First, start with the why. Establish your family mission, your family vision, and your family values. There couldn't be a more important place to start. And this is nothing to take lightly. You need to spend some time on this, and we can help you. From there, you work on the who. Understand how these things are going to impact each of the players, each of the members in your family. Again, we can help you. We can help you practice communication with different members of your family. We can help you understand what makes each member tick. That's what we're here for. And finally, we have all kinds of tips and tricks in each of those three areas in the how category. Whether it's physical health, meaning your physical, your person, or your house, your space, your food, your clothing, those kinds of things. Those are the basic needs of all humans. And that's why we gave it its own category. In addition, we can also help you with the mental or spiritual health. This is where we address stressed out and overcommitted, sleepless nights. Those all grind away at our mental and spiritual health. And again, we can help you there. And lastly, financial health. Now, we're not financial experts by any means, but we feel that we've established some things in our family, and we've seen them work in other families, that we can help reduce financial stress and financial pressures. So that's the secret to family. The secret to family are why, who, and how. And if you're interested in learning more, I encourage you to click on over to our website and sign up for our newsletter. We'd be happy to help you out and encourage you and your family to lead a more purposeful life. Thanks a lot. This is Doran with Secret to Family. Take care.